my Stitchy friends. Welcome back to my channel. You found Laladi Stitches. My name is Laura and this is part 2 of my January WIP parade. I am so glad you're here. It might sound a little choppy as you get into it, but just as a refresher, we just finished up with my autumn projects and we are moving into Halloween, Christmas, etc., etc., miscellaneous. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you for being here with me, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, I also had in that bag my tiny little Jack's Bash, which has been very popular this past season. I think a couple of people did it as a sal and it just blew up. All of a sudden I saw it everywhere. I started this back in 2018, I think. And again, I'm stitching it itty bitty. So it's 1/2 on 40 count. This is pre-migraine days. And I got that whole the first year I worked on it, I did this whole first side. The last time I worked on it, I finished the outline, the border. And I haven't worked on it in a couple of years. I was very tempted to pull it out this year, but I have this weird little thing where it's like, if everybody else is doing it, sometimes I want to do it, but then I'm like, no, I'm not going to do what everybody else is doing, even though I love it. So, watch me be obstinate for no reason at all. Anyways, so that may come out next year. We'll see how or this year. This is weird. It's 2024. Anyways, we'll see where my brain is in autumn if I need bigger or smaller counts. I have options. Okay, ink circles. This is a 2-parter. That's kind of kind of like that more is how it goes. It says Happy Halloween in the tombstones. And I love this. I think it's so cool. I saw this one. They had a sample of it made at Acorns and Threads, and it was one of those moments where you're like, I want that. And so I bought it. I bought the fabric that day. I switched out the black for Witching Hour, which you'll never see it in the camera because they can't capture it. But it has the deepest black, like berry color to it. I don't know. Yeah, it'll never show. It's too subtle, but it's so exquisite in person and I love it. So this year I did a little bit more fence and I did this center part and I chose my color for my outside scallop. So I bought this it must have been in 2020, like fall 2020 when things were sort of opening up again for limited access. But supply chains were seriously affected still and they did not have the called for. I have since purchased the called for and I kind of compared this year. My debate was whether or not to use the called for or to use the one I had originally chosen, which is the Harvest Moon. It's a bit brighter. The other one I think it was Gold Leaf or something like that, and it had a brassier tone to it. So I decided to just put some stitching in, and I actually love how Harvest Moon looks. So that's what we're going with. And now that that's decided, again, sometimes these decisions that I make, kind of creative changes, are a little bit paralyzing. Not because I can't make the decision, I clearly do, but I just want it to be right and what I'll really be happy with. And so sometimes it really slows down a process, a progress, all of the above. Okay, Halloween Parade by the Blue Flower. I adore this one. It's so cute. Does it show a little better on the back, maybe? It is a pillow, so you kind of have the curve of the 3-dimensional pillow. I don't remember if I stitched. I don't think I stitched on this one this year. I don't think I did. I love that she's a gray-haired lady, though. I think that's really cool. You don't see a lot of gray-haired people in stitches, so I mean, that's just as she was charted, and I think it's beautiful. She kind of has like Cruella de Vil stripe of lighter gray, and it's excellent. Yeah, so this is where I am. This is 35 count weeks linen. The color is mocha, which is just the perfect warm golden tan. I love it. Ooh, I love it. And I'm about to get into some more of my favorite critter in this is the dog in the bee costume. Or maybe the raven with the bowler hat and the bow tie. It's a toss-up between those two. They're so dang cute. That'll be so fun this year. I'll probably work on this one. Okay, this one was a new start this season. One of the reasons I didn't make progress on the others was I discovered the Mirabilia, what is it called? Fairy Holiday Collection. I don't know how I hadn't seen these before because I love Mirabilias, but they are smaller, kind of like the Nora Corbett scale little charts, and I found out I almost bought, I did not, I refrained because I had already chosen my projects for the new year, but there is a new year one. She has a clock that hangs down. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. I will finish this one this year. I got so close this year on it. I couldn't put her down. I adored stitching on her. The only change I made was her flesh tone. I switched it out. It was called for, I don't think I even have the called for on here. It's Bella Rosa, which is a very pinky, it looks more like flowers than flesh to me. So I switched it out. There will be some back stitching, so it's not going to be as blendy as it may appear right now, but oh, I love her. I love her. She has a little bit of beads. I have them. So I'll be ready to rock and roll on her again this fall. She's so cute. I even love her like paper bag jack-o'-lantern. Oh, so good. And this was one, if you were with me in the fall, you'll know, but if you're new, I definitely had a debate because the picture shows a much more blended dress than is the current dye lot run. I'm using the called for floss. I bought them all basically as a kit at the same time, though this is coffee dyed. It doesn't smell like anything anymore, but I'm pretty sure it's coffee dyed. No, it's probably tea dyed. Coffee doesn't get as dark a lot of the time as like a black tea. Anyways, side note. Tea dyed even weave. Yeah, even weave of some kind. It's lovely to stitch on. I wish I had more of this. It's really nice. What was I saying? Oh, skirt. Anyways, so this is the called for floss, but it was so vastly different from the image that it kind of froze me for a hot minute, and then I decided to just give it a chance, and I actually love the effect of the stark contrast. Something about it is very vintage appealing to me, so I like it. It wound up being fabulous. And it made it so that when I did buy the Thanksgiving Fairy when I found out it was part of a series. When I started her and ran into a similar issue of higher contrast, I just went with it because I loved how it turned out on Halloween. So I was like, okay, well, it can't be terrible, right? And if it is, I can always rip it out. So it's never permanent. Okay. Oh, yes. This was a birthday present from my sister. It's a discontinued chart. Old. I try to be gentle with it. It gets a little bit of manhandling in the bag, but 1989. I mean, old. I'm older than it, but not by much. Judith Kirby's Victorian Houses. This is number 9. There's a companion one. I don't know if it's 8 or 10, but it has little trick-or-treaters walking by a different house, and I've seen them, I think it's on this side, and I've seen them stitched together so that just is a continuous scene. It's so cute. But I love just the one, and I got really good progress on it. This was a new start, so I just, on my own hand-dyed Ada. I just loved stitching it. So that's where I got to this year. So you can see why some of my older WIPs that were already kind of in play didn't get as much attention, because I really put stitching time into this and my Halloween Fairy. You know, you just find the ones that bring you joy in the moment, and that's what it's about. My mom and I were just talking about this yesterday. I was like, you know, it's winter. Like we've passed the holiday stitching now, and I'm slotted to do Christmas stitching. I don't have the main sheet for this next one. And I'm just not feeling it. Like, I really kind of want to stitch on samplers, or some of the things I started over New Year. Like, I'm not really feeling like stitching wintry things. And I think I'm okay with that. Normally I'm very seasonal, but like, I feel like I just need to kind of embrace that this year and let it be joyful stitching, rather than being like, no, it's winter, I must stitch winter, you know, which is what I normally do for my seasons. But it's about enjoying the process. This is I call it my Hocus Pocus one. It's not actually called Hocus Pocus. It's called Tonight We Ride, I think. And so it has 3 witches and this fantastic black work house with trees and a hill, and it's fabulous. But I'm making adjustments to make very dark, they're supposed to be black, the witches are supposed to be black, but I want them to read as the Hocus Pocus witches, the Sanderson sisters. So there will be a kind of a maroon one, a green one, and a purple deep one. But they're as deep as I could find floss for, so they read as dark as possible, so they still have that silhouette aspect. Anyways, so I'm making some changes, but it was fabulous, and I dyed this fabric, and it was tie-dye Halloween magic, and yeah. Anyways, but back to my winter stitching. So I think my January will look very different than I was planning it to look mid-December, and that's okay. We were talking about it, like I said, yesterday, and we were both like, you know, it's okay for plans to change, and plans are just good intentions in this. I feel like, unless you are stitching something for somebody for a specific date, so it has a timeline, it has a deadline, or you're doing a sample stitch or something like that, that's a different issue. But me, I stitch for pleasure, I stitch for the creative outlet, I stitch to contain my anxiety in busy hands, I stitch for so many reasons. And none of them have to do with anybody else. So it's okay if my plans change, and if I need to stitch something other than winter to be finding joy, which is the point, that's okay. So I don't know who needs to hear that, or if anybody does, but there you go. This is, oh goodness, I got on my soapbox and forgot to show you. Halloween Quaker. Again, everybody has stitched this or is stitching this because it's fabulous. I dyed my own Ada for it. It's a bit bluer in person. The camera really does not do this one justice. And it even has like little hints of very intentional purple here and there. They're very subtle, but it's in person, you can actually see it. You can almost see it there for a second. Anyways, this was my start. I'm doing the call for overdyes as far as stitching goes on this. I'm going to pull my needle out. Now that I have remembered my rusty needle, I'm pulling out my needle on all of them. Because it will be a year before this gets any more, almost a year, 10 months before this gets any attention. Because it's January. Okay, so that is all of my fall Halloween stitching. Now let's get into winter. Slash Christmas. This will be predominantly Christmas. I don't actually have that many winter specific charts. I finished most of them last year, which is great. Maybe that's why I got startitis. because I started out the year finishing like 3 projects, and then, but I continually, like I said, I need to get a count of this. How many did I actually finish? Because I can think of at least 3 in the first month, another one mid-spring. I mean, I feel like it has to be around 10, because then I fully finished several in the summer. I finished a bunch. I started and finished 2 in December. So, I mean, like I have finished things. I have started at least as many things as I've finished, if not more. It's fine. It's good. I don't have a picture for this. See, this is where I need my tablet. But this is, I can show you this. It's a free pattern from brooksbooks.com. And here, I can show you this. It's a free chart, so I could show the chart. I wouldn't feel bad about showing a free chart since you can go out and download it for free. But, you know, it's fine. I'll just protect it a little bit. But you can see it's these cute little critters. It's the 24 days of Christmas, and it's happy and bright. And I did it on this audaciously bright turquoise fabric it was my first Rit dye experience. It's not going to read as bright as it actually is. It is so bright in person. It's like, in fact, it's so bright. I've considered stitching it on, like restarting it on a more subtle fabric because it's quite glowy. But it reads very gently on the camera. It's so cute. The designs have such whimsy and personality. They're so cute. So I started in the center. I worked my way up. And then I'm kind of working out. It's a 4x6. Is that right? Yeah. 4x6 layout. All on one piece. They're darling. I didn't work on it at all this year. It just didn't strike my mood. But I do love it. It is cute. It's very cute. Okay. When did I start this one? I feel like I started this one. I don't have any information on it. Brooks Books Advent Animals. Yeah. But it must have been 2019-ish. Would be my guess. That would be my guess. It's one of my older ones. But unlike like Birds of a Feather or potentially the Fantasy Sow, I'm not as motivated to like, oh, let's pound out this old WIP on this one. It just, I'm okay with that one taking however long it takes. Okay, this is Deck the Halls by Satsuma Street. I think I have a cover picture. Sometimes on these digital patterns, I don't print out the cover picture and I just show them on my tablet. So sometimes I have them, sometimes I don't. Satsuma Street, I mean, I said it once, I'll say it again. I love her stuff. And I am stitching it. That's how far I am. So I actually did, I don't even think I showed you guys because it was minimal stitching, but I did stitch on it this year. I filled in the face and the neck, and I filled in all of this pink. And then I think I filled in those, they look kind of like lime wedges to me in the tail feathers. So I did do some stitching on it. Not as much as I did the year previous, but I was distracted by Santas this year. And the Sal from, the mystery Sal from Jingle Ball, which I started and finished. So I was just doing other things. I got a lot of stitching in December. This was, I started this in December 21, it looks like. I made a note. I do not have a cover picture for it. I think it was called the Noel Sal Stitch Along. Again, it's, you know, it's not even worth pulling out really. It's just the start of a border. This is 1/4 of it. So 16 squares. And it says Noel somewhere in there, and then it has little, like a bell and, you know, Christmassy kind of motifs around it. And I want to finish this one. It's pretty much full coverage stitching, so it'll be really dense and satisfying. Stitching at 2/2. Anyways, I want to finish this one as a pillow someday. So that's my little Satsuma Christmas bag. Okay, and then some of these, well, this one I didn't work, I worked on this in summer. Gosh. I don't have a full picture of this. It's called Santa's Trips. It was originally a Barbara Anna stitch along, but is now available as a pattern. And I love it. You can get her patterns through creativepoppy.com, digital copies. I think you can order physical copies too. I always order digital because I want it now. But anyways, yeah, I think I did these 2 blocks and a little bit of border in July, for Christmas in July. It was the first time I'd done it. And if it will at least come out in July again, if not become a serious focus to get it done, because I am either at or past the halfway point at this point. So, and I love it. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Okay. That's one of my favorite Christmas WIPs. Okay. So then we get into some more recent Christmas stuff. This is Heartstring Samplery Christmas Bells. And that's how far I got this year, which was, I mean, it's more than double what was there when I started. I did finally get my hands on the red for the alternate flowers. Only took me a year to have it in stock. Gloriana silks have been at times difficult to find, and this one has always been sold out. So I was really fortunate to get my hands on it at last, but it came like right before Christmas. So I was kind of done with Christmas stitching at that point and moving on to my extended 12 by 12. But it's gorgeous. I love it. In the Mintle. Oh, I have a picture. This isn't a digital chart. It has a verse from the song, The Bells on Christmas Day. So I love it. I love this one. This will get a lot more focus 2024 Christmas. I feel bad that it didn't get as much, but not having the colors kind of threw a wrench in the works. So it will definitely get love this year. That, and maybe that'll be 2 of my main focuses, are Santa's Trips and this one, because I really do love them. Okay, and now we get into my Santas, which it is so funny. When I started this one, which is called The Gift of Peace by Lavender and Lace, it is stunning. It is so gorgeous. I pulled him out at Christmas in July as well, and then I didn't actually work on him in December. So I'm glad I worked on him in July because I adore him. He's so gentle. He's such a gentle Santa. I really love him. Here, I'll show you the finished piece. Here we go. That's what he will be like. Look at the little dove, baby dove in his hand. I can hardly wait to get down to that basket too. Such fun colors. Anyways, it's beautiful. I adore it. I love Lavender and Lace patterns. And so I look forward to working on this one again. It just didn't happen. I started other Santas this year. Well, this December, I should say, more specifically, because I did work on him. Anyways, I love him. Gift of Peace. He's gorgeous. But it was funny because when I started him, I was like, I'm not really into Santas, but I really love this one. I'm so excited to stitch it. La 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 la. All my excuses, right? Well, apparently I really like antique classic Santas. Like I really do. So this year I started with my friend a hashtag. It's a very, very, very loose, casual stitch along. And it was Stitch a Santa Sal. And I started 3 Santas because of it. So the first and biggest is Santa's List, which I'm happy to see. And maybe it's just because I am aware of it and so now I'm seeing it other places, or maybe I sparked a fire in the cross stitch world, which I would love. And now people are stitching it. I've seen it several places and I love that because it's so gorgeous. It's a big project. It will be a multi-year venture. I got this far. So that's the full width pretty much, you know. That's the full width of this, but then it comes a little bit further out with some holly. And then we'll see how far down the fabric it goes. I want to say it's like, whatever this is, 12 by 16 or 15 or something like that on my 28 count. Which is what the sample, the model stitch is stitched on a 28 count. So I did not feel bad going big. I knew it would be more comfortable stitching, and it is very, like the border at least, quarter stitches galore to create those holly leaves. I was surprised. I know that down here it won't be as bad. Maybe in his, oh, rats. That's just my working chart. Oh, I'm stitching this. My fabric is 28 count antique ivory. If you're interested, this book is so good. So 101 Best Loved Designs. I love it. My mom has stitched this triptych, but she combined them all into one scene. And I grew up, she stitched it while she was pregnant with me. So it has literally been on the wall my entire life. And when I saw that it was in this book, I was like, oh, like it was so nostalgic. When we moved my mom into her new house last January, so this time last year, which is crazy to think about, I was determined to make sure this got a spot on the wall, because it's like, it's not my mom's home if she doesn't have the Edwards farm up, which is, there's a little, you can't really see it. Maybe I can get a better picture. Anyways, I won't worry about it. But there's a little sign that says something else farm. I can't even read it myself, so I don't know why I would try to show it there. But she changed it. My maiden name is Edwards. So she changed it to Edwards Farm. So it's the Edwards Farm. And I don't know. I always loved it. So it was fun to see it in this. And it has a lot of really gorgeous, I will stitch those sunflowers someday. I love this one. A full coverage floral extravaganza. Let me see. I think I just have Santa marked right now. Maybe these top ones. Oh yes, I love this one, which is butterflies, and oh, it's beautiful. It feels very chatelaine in some ways because it has specialty stitches and I don't know, but like smaller, less intense. Anyways, love that book. Love Santa's List. So excited. I feel like I got a really solid start on it for everything else I had going on. So, and then I started, this was a new start. I'm going to turn it carefully because I have the chart on the back. Christmas shop, which I love. It just barely got it right before Christmas though, and I started it because I just wanted to start it, even though I hadn't really planned on it, and I just got a little start. I showed this in my last video, so I won't linger on it, but very cute. They're sharing a bag right now. Hey, go in, you guys. That's just a back of paper. We're good. We're good. Oh my goodness. The little floss cards are, go in. There we go. I just want to close this one. This one has enough stuff in it that it would make a mess. Okay. Next Santa I started was Christmas Journey, which I was gifted. It was a surprise and I love it. And I got just a little start. Again, I showed this one in my last video, so I'm not going to linger on this. But book 8 from the holiday heirloom collection, and I love, love, love it. I love, love, love it. So, had to start that one. So that's the second Santa I started. And last but not least in the Santa extravaganza was my Wishing Thee Merriness. And I'll just show it really quickly because it was featured in my last video as well. So that's where I got. I'm not using Whisper. I switched out his coat for, I think it's Cocoa. Weeks Dye Works Cocoa. And I'm making other color choices as well because I'm stitching just from what I had on hand in stash rather than buying a bunch of extra plus. Okay, Thanksgiving is out of order, but I think that's how I had it in my book, which I've completely neglected as we're going along here. Turn the page. We're getting there. We're over halfway. Oh my gosh, I might have to make this a two-parter. Like continue filming today, but like release it in 2 videos because I'm at 2 hours. Gosh. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Delicious by Lindy Stitches. We're just gonna fly. We're gonna fly. So I can do a video. I didn't work on him this year. I did the first half basically, other than the borders. Last year, I'm stitching the 2 pillows into one so that they're kind of kissing. Mr. and Mrs., but I like I said, I didn't work on it this year. I got distracted by Fall on the Farm and my Thanksgiving Fairy and all that happiness. Okay, and this one, County Fair by Lavender Lace, I think. There's a sister company to Lavender Lace called, this is Lavender Lace, called something else. That I have some of their patterns now. So now I always question whether or not it's Lavender Lace or the other one. Stitching on Vintage Country Mocha, and that's how far I got. Just her little apron ruffle in the start of her dress. Gorgeous though. I'm excited for this one. I feel like this one's really an elegant Thanksgiving stitch. And it's all DMC and no beads, which is really nice about the lavender. Okay, I cannot say all Lavender Lace has no beads. That is categorically untrue. I mean, she's got this beautiful, like, seasonal ladies, and they are definitely, they have beads. But the ones I'm stitching right now, I think I have 3 Lavender Laces going, and none of them have beads. So that's kind of nice. As I said, I like beads, but I'm now more aware of the time commitment that they will be for me. Feast of Friendship, so beautiful. And someone gifted me the floss for them, which was so lovely and generous, and thank you again. You guys are so nice to me. This was my start. It's a good start. That's like the most impressive start of the day. Again, it's something about these sampler borders. I am just gobbling them up. Get the Thanksgiving reference there? Gobbling them up. I know. Hardy har har. I'm so hilarious. Anyways, but I love it. I think it's gorgeous. The only thing not in is there's a leaf in either corner here, and so I didn't do that yet, but oh, I love it. Oh, I love it so much. Beautiful. It's Blackbird Designs. I think I showed you. Yeah, I showed you. Hey, play nice, you guys. Go in. Thank you. My sweet little pupper down here. I don't know if you can see her. She sleeps very curled up, and right now she is, she has her nose squished, something like that, and she has just the softest whistle. She must be deeply asleep right now. Now my camera's all funky, but that's okay, whatever. She's so cute. Okay, so here's my Thanksgiving fairy. I love the colors in here. And again, you will see in a moment that the contrast, see how it's very subtle like lavender. It's almost white, but I'm gonna go with it because I love how it turned out on the Halloween fairy. This was a smaller start, but I ordered her and then she came midway through the month, so she just didn't get as much attention. This is Fiber on a Whim Parchment. In fact, I think it might be the chunk that was cut off of Autumn Town. The remnants. Okay, now we're getting into my fancy ladies. So we've left the seasonal stitching, and now we're going into my fancy ladies. Lavender and Lace, Nan Tucket Rose. She is beautiful. She's one of my oldest charts as far as like date I purchased or acquired. And but I started her in 2019. So this year I think is going to be her year of getting some considerable work. I've finally started breaking down into her ginormous gray skirt, but I wanted first to get kind of that arc of the tree. It's kind of like her sheltered little spot. Gosh, I love this one. I don't know what the fabric is. I'm assuming it's the called for because I actually got this pattern and along with a whole bag of patterns and fabric in an estate sale. And so I think this is just like a dove gray like it calls for. It's very similar to the, I mean, it looks like the picture. So I'm assuming it's the same. But I don't have any information on it because I bought it at an estate sale. So I love her. She's probably one of my favorite fancy ladies I have going. This one I would like to get more work into this year. I didn't work on her at all last year. Oh my goodness, it did it again. Okay, so this happened a couple videos again. I don't know what triggers it. I have not figured that out. Not thumbs down, two thumbs up. She's gorgeous. Princess Eliana. I'm stitching her on a 32 count linen. I don't have the name of. Interesting. But it's spectacular. So that's how far I got the first year I worked on her. Which is pretty good. She's gorgeous. Oh my gosh. All I can see is how many beads there will be in her now. I may be a little bit intimidated. But the colors in her are fantastic. She is just fabulous. No changes wanted or needed. I'm going to fold this in a different way because it's been folded that way for a while. Princess Eliana. She's gorgeous. I just adore her. I'm going to do, so here's a little plans moment. I'm going to do Mira May. So I will pull out 4 Mira WIPs, and I think I'm starting 3 that month that I've had kitted up for a long time. And that'll be really fun. So I'll just work on 7 projects, and I don't know how I'll break them up, whether they get like 3 or 4 days each, or if I do like 1 day a week they're assigned to, then they still get their 4 days. That's gonna be fun because I'll get some really good progress on some of my WIPs. This is Petal Fairy. I love her too. In fact, I love her fabric I'm stitching her on too. It's so, I don't know, it's so warm. It's almost like a terracotta level of warmth in person. It's gonna wash out in the camera, but ooh, it's so pretty. It's so wrinkly. But she's beautiful. Last time I stitched on her, I added in all of these pinks, and that was magic. So she'll definitely come out in May, as will Eliana. I'm not completely decided on who the other candidates will be yet, but it's going to be really fun. I'm excited. I've only done like a mania style May for like the last 4 years. I think my first one was in 2019. And I'm looking forward to a different May than all the starts. As much as I've enjoyed that, it's like I did it enough last year that I don't need it all the time. This is the Woodland Fairy, I believe. Let me double check that. Oh, where's her words? You know, you think you know them by name. Oh, I was right. Woodland Fairy. She's beautiful. Mine will look very different than this, though. She's on like this beautiful, like, greeny gray in the picture. And I'm stitching her on pink. I think it's Charlotte's pink. Which I did stitch on her this year because I was very concerned about the pink. I had only done this section of her lap, which is just boring mustard gold. And I was very concerned. I was not convinced this was going to be a good choice fabric for her. I was questioning everything. Anyways, so I stitched up and I got to her head and I'm happy with it. I think she's going to be gorgeous, especially when you start to get some of the other colors in, when you get her wings and the branch she's sitting on and everything. Anyways, she's lovely. Also, I had thought about changing the colors of her wings, and I'm not going to. I've decided, excuse me, my goodness, little bubble. I've decided I really like the mothy quality to her wings, so I'm going to leave them as called for. In case you were wondering and had seen her in my last WIP parade, or in the summer when I worked on her last. Okay, we're still in my fancy ladies. This is Mystery Lady. What is her name? Lily of the Woods. Oh, she's gorgeous. I love her. All the cherry blossoms and the lacy quality to her lower set of wings. Beautiful, beautiful. This is, I'll just hold it like this. This is how far. Not sure which way she goes. Anyways, whichever way, it might be this way. I don't know. I'll figure it out when I start stitching her again, but that's how far I got. I love this fabric. This is, picture this plus 32 count Highland. It's very pretty, very, very pretty. She's really pretty. I don't think I worked on her this year. I think I was trying to figure out my last one, and I didn't work on. 2 hours in, the brain dies. Okay, Gaia, the Earth Goddess, Bella Filipina. I adore her. She is gorgeous. My sister gifted this pattern to me a few years ago, and I made some progress for the first 2 years I worked on it, and then this year I just wasn't feeling her. I don't know. I just didn't pull her out. Well, I pulled her out, but I didn't actually stitch on her. So I'm working on her skirt so far. I'm definitely getting to the point where I need to get her Krynics. She's another one that is very Krynic heavy. I'm stitching this. This is Fortnite Fabrics Mind Blowing. It's fantastic. It's going to be so good when we start getting the purpley colors that are down in the earth, and then in her kind of branchy wings is kind of how I think of that. Branchy wings. It's going to pull out all these colors in the fabric. Fabulous. But I need to kind of find my oomph for it again. So it'll come back. It just wasn't here this year. So this was kind of a tough year in some ways. So 2023 was. 2024. Wow. It's just life. It's all good. It's all good. I'm just kind of chattering. Oh, this was a like wimpy New Year's start last year. I mean, it's not even worth showing. It's an arm on Moon Fairy. She's lovely. All I stitched was her arm. It'll be a while before I go much farther on her. I think it was just, I wanted to start her, so I started her. But then I didn't work on her again, so just the one session. That's okay. What's the difference between a small start and a kit? I don't know. Nothing. Snow Maiden. She's beautiful. I really enjoyed working on her last January. And, oh, she is beautiful. She is beautiful. That's how far I got. Lovely, lovely. Oh my goodness! Why? I really don't understand. Apple, cut it out. Anyways, she's beautiful. I really, really love her. As I said, I'm not really feeling winter this year, so I don't know that I will work on her right now. Maybe she'll come out in May as my Mirror May, because that's just Fancy Ladies. Like, it doesn't have to be seasonal. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. I don't know when I'll work on her again, but I love her. She's gorgeous. This is my Floral Dream. I love her. I started her this last summer, and she was one that I had a hard time putting down. So I made very good progress. Her blanket is almost done, other than the puddle of the ground and beads. And then I'm ready to go up into her arch. I would imagine I will finish her this year. So I love her. She's so gorgeous. This is Jade. Picture this plus Jade. It's one of my favorite blue-green jade colors. Really, really gorgeous. All right. Okay, so this is a kit, a dimensions kit. Are we out of the, oh, it was out of order. Never mind. One last Mirabilia Fancy Lady. This was a birthday start. Her name is Lavender. Just a smaller one. Nora Corbett is the same as Mirabilia, right? Same designer. But the Nora Corbetts are smaller. And so they're lovely. If you want to dip your toes into the Fancy Ladies, I would recommend a Nora Corbett level size. This is my start. And I stitched this little chunk so fast that I was like, oh, I'll just save this for like February or March, and I'll stitch her in the spring because she'll go super fast. So I haven't done anything more on her. But this is Belfast Linden and Lilac. It's going to be great. I am looking forward to picking this one back up again. This Belfast Linden is very comfortable to stitch on. Okay, now we're going into kits. So my next section is kits or full coverage. So usually they are one and the same, but I have at least one full coverage that was not originally a kit. Okay, la la la. This is out of order. I'm gonna pull that out then. My oldest WIP. This is my oldest WIP. This is from 2011. And it comes with baggage, so that's why it is a slower progress, but that's okay. I love it. It will be gorgeous someday when it's done. Balloon Glow by Dimensions Gold. Here, I'll get the picture. There you go. Yeah. Very fun, very fun. Last time I worked on it, I did roof lines to try to establish those buildings. I've been trying to figure out a way to incorporate some of my full coverages. I don't have a ton, but I have a number of them at this point. I started 3 in December, so, you know, that upped my count. This is Woodland and Chantress, another gold collection. Gorgeous. She's absolutely beautiful. And I am this far on her. I think last time I worked on her, I did her sleeves and her bodice. Again, I'm not really feeling winter this year, so I don't know that she'll come out of hibernation. Just in the deep freeze for now. Anyways, I'm trying to think, if I picked 4 of my full coverages and I had them be like 1 day a week for 4 months, is that right? 3 months, for 3 months. And then I switched to a different one and I would get pretty good progress. I feel like that would give me basically 12 days work on each of them. And that might be a good way to spread them through the year. I love this one. This would be one of them if I do it. Dockside Quilts. Design Works kit. It has a very soft Aida, which I really enjoy stitching on. And this is where I left it. Those bushes, man. I tell you what. Confetti. Confetti. And I'm pretty sure I have a number of errors in there and it's fine. It's fine. Let's just leave it there. Oh, I love this one. This one is not Charles Wysocki. I don't think it's his artwork, actually, if I remember right. But it feels like his work. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember seeing his name on it anywhere. Anyway, Cozy Cove Gold Collection. It's gorgeous. It's really beautiful. All I've done is a tree. Not even a whole tree. But, you know, that's okay. Dimensions kits are really fun, but they're not simple. They're not simple. They're called dimensions because they use varying amounts of floss at a time to create dimension, as well as I feel like the images themselves have a lot of dimension, but then you get like the physical dimension as well. You go down to 1 strand and up to 4 or 5 sometimes on them. But they always do it on 18 count Aida, which is super stiff. And so, I mean, it can be murder on the hands, which is why this next one came to a full stop. Messy. I have all 4 of the cute little lighthouses. These are the Gold Collection Petites. This one is Cliffside Beacon. I have done 1. I am on my 2nd, but I must have been having a weak hand year because I got as far as I am and then it was hurting my hands to stitch on it. So I took a break. I put it down. And I did not work on it this year because now I'm afraid of it. Not really afraid, but I had hesitation, trepidation. Maybe that's the word. But I love them. I have this dream of having all 4 of them and being able to hang them on my wall with each other. So that would be fun someday. I've got to pick it up again though. Okay, this one is coming out next month. I adore her. Letty Stitch kit. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Into Dreamland. My theme for February is Literary February. And so anything that has a book or is a character from a book or reminds me of a character for a book becomes eligible. So I almost have a full page, but I've been trying to break the line of the page. I didn't do that very well here. But so that I don't get hard lines. Anyways, I really want to pick this one up again. Maybe we'll start this, maybe we'll work on this month. Maybe this will be my first quarter full coverage and I'll give it a day a week. That could be really fun. She's so beautiful. And this, so I have a couple of Letty Stitch kits now. I don't know if this is soft just because I've been handling it. This linen is so soft. It's lovely. Or not linen, excuse me. It feels like a linen because it's so soft. It's an Aida. It's a gridded Aida. And it's wonderful. I feel like a couple of the ones I got thinking they would be like this, the Aida's a bit stiffer. But I've done quite a bit of stitching on this, so it could be that I've handled it and it's softened up. What a mountain of stuff I have behind me. We're almost there though. I was hoping this would be 2.5 hours. It might be 2 hours, 45 minutes, but we're getting there. We're flying. I hope I'm not chattering too much. Lady and the Unicorn by Gaia. The designer is Kyoko Maroka. I love her designs. I just bought a book and started. She released a book this fall, early this fall, and I have started one of the things from that as part of my 12 by 12, and I loved it. So this is a full coverage. It's a small 4 coverage. I did not center it well because that's the middle. But, or maybe that's the middle. Anyways, it's not centered on my fabric very well, but it's going to be awesome. I love it. Again, this is I don't know if this is considered a fiddler's cloth. It has a little bit of a speckle to it. It's not an even weave. It's not a linen. Maybe it would be considered an even weave. I don't know. I love this fabric though. I wish I knew what it was because it's super comfortable to stitch on. And it just gives you this, I don't know, the stitches just, they lay so nicely. It's lovely. It's really nice. That one will definitely come out at some point this year. I love that one. I'm excited about that one. I feel like my excitement waned for some of these because I've seen them so recently. It's not that I don't like them. Okay, a Luca S kit. Oh, well that's why it's different. This is Luca S versus Letty Stitch. That's the difference in the fabric. Okay, Luca S, huge. This is going to take me so long. But I think it's beautiful and serene. I really love that. It's called Not Forgotten. As a kit, I bought it first quarter of last year and did a piddly little corner start. Tells you how big this project will be. Yeah, it's going to be a big one, but it's beautiful. And like I said earlier, there's no timeline on these. It's fine. It's more important to enjoy it. But I also don't want, I will say, I don't mind having a bunch of WIPs, which I'm aware I do. It doesn't bother me. That being said, I don't want 200. So that's why I'm focusing more on stitching from stash this year and not starting all the things. Oh, I didn't show you the picture. That being said, caveat to the caveat. This is Feline Love. I've had this kit forever. I think it was a gift, like a Christmas present when I was a teenager. And I've just held on to it because I love it, but it just wasn't the right moment to start it. So I have started it. This is how far I got. But it's that 18 count with tons of floss, and it's very tiring for my hands. So that's what 20 years of working in a quilt shop does, is it wears out your hands and your forearms. Yep. Okay, I'm in the last chunk. Oh, thank heavens. Oh, I can't pick them up. There we go. So this is the miscellaneous category. So it's going to be a wild ride through these ones because they're all going to feel very different. Okay, this is fun. This is good. This is a very old one. I do not know when I'll pick this one up again. I'm not ready to say I won't finish it, but it's very old. Woodland Babies. I love the designs in this. They are very sweet. I have done them on 14 count Ada. I've done 3, it looks like. And I had planned on making them into a baby blanket. So there's one little frog. This one doesn't have any very much back stitching. It looks like I started it, but I've not done all of the back stitching on them yet. This one has none of it yet, but all of the crosses are done. So they're very sweet. They're very sweet. So Stony Creek, very nice, very nice. I don't know when I'll pick it up though. It just sits here. Next. Oh, we got a pop of sunshine for a second. Okay. Oh, this may be one of my last little room in the attic projects that I have started anyways. I don't have a cover picture, so I'll just show you. It's called Watercolor Unicorn and Floral Wreath, and I am just down in the bottom flowers so far. I haven't started into the unicorn yet, but it's lovely. I mean, very watercolory, you know, it's very blended and gentle, fresh spring colors. More pastel than bright though. Yeah, I haven't worked on this in a couple of years, I think. It just kind of, I don't know, hasn't hit the mood, but I'm not gonna stop that one by any means. I like it. It's pretty. Okay, this one is a conundrum. This project is a conundrum. I'm at a full stop on it right now. I love it. Consider the Lilies. It was released in 2020. I bought it that spring. Apparently I stapled something to it. Oh, it's just some of my color substitutions because yeah, it's just some of my color substitutions. So I started this. I was loving this in 2020 when I bought it. I really was. I made good progress on it. But I'm stitching it on a 40 count. I think it's a 40 count. It's either 36 or 40. Do I have that information? No. Okay. Oh, yes, I do. Never mind. Lakeside Linen, 36 count. Vintage French Lilac. So it's a 36 count. So it's not as bad as I thought, but it is small because the project is large. I wanted to go to a little bit smaller count. But I'm stitching it 2/2, and I questioned, I had a little mental crisis on whether or not I should have used one strand over two instead of 2/2. Looking at it now, I'm pretty far into it. I think I have at least a page done. Page and a half, maybe. And I thought I had less. I thought it was more like that much. And I was considering restarting it. I mean, this is a huge piece of fabric, right? It's not going to take all of this, though it will take a large portion of it. But I thought maybe it was big enough that I could restart it over here and do it 1/2. I don't know. I think it was something to do with the way my stitches were laying, or I just wasn't. Oh my gosh, third time. Okay. Note to self, I need to research bubbles in videos. Underline. I don't know why it does that. It's so weird. At least it didn't do the fireworks again, but I don't like the negativity of the thumbs down. It's kind of weird. It's throwing me off, and it totally derails my brain. Anyways, it is very pretty. Looking at it now, maybe I was overthinking it. I don't know if you can, there the lavender shows a little better. It's very pretty. And I loved the gentleness of the lavender. It just felt like spring. And anyways, maybe it's not as bad as I thought. Big project though. Big project. I think this is the one that New Hampshire Stitcher just finished this year. But she is one of the super speedy stitchers out there. I'm always very impressed by how much she gets done. She's a little more focused than I am, though. Okay, I'm changing my ways a little bit. I'm not going to reform completely. Okay, this is the Loose Feathers series. I think there were only 9. I have 9 charts. I'm going to stitch them all together. 3x3 grid. And I am 1 square into it. I am making a couple alterations on colors here and there. My blooms in the first block, they were not supposed to be purple. I think they're like a blush pink or blue. Anyway, so I'm just doing little tweaks here and there, but for the most part following the called for. It looks like there's still a couple of things to do in the first block, but it's pretty much done. Anyways, this is Weeks Linen 36 count parchment. So yeah. This one I would really actually like to, this is one of the ones I would like to get some work done on this year and potentially finish it in the next 2 years, I think. Unless it like started to really fly, and then I would totally change that. But it's lovely. And when I think of this one done, I vision it above my piano. And so I would really I think about it. I haven't stitched on it in a while, but I think about it periodically. Okay, this one I don't have a picture for. It's called Totoro and the Hydrangea. It's no longer available. It was an Etsy purchase. And I can't find it. I've had lots of questions in the past when I've shown it, but I'm sorry, I don't have that information. Anyways, it's darling. I'm excited to get into the actual hydrangeas because that will brighten it a lot, but it's very cute. It's fun to stitch on. All right. Next. This is part of my Sci-Fi July. I'm a Trekkie, and I stitch on these when we're watching Star Trek, which is right now we don't have Paramount Plus, so we don't have access to anything but the movies, which we've purchased, so it's less often than we would like it to be. My husband loves Star Trek too. I take credit for that. Anyways, last year I pulled it out and I finished Kirk and I'm on to Picard, and somebody asked if I was going to add some of the newer captains, Archer, and I think that would be really fun if I have enough room. I'm not sure if I will have room to chart an extra captain onto there, but it would be really fun if there was room to add that. Then I've got Let's Cuddle and Watch Star Trek is my second Star Trek design, and instead of stitching full coverage red, I took someone's brilliant advice to find a fabulous red and just stitch the white. So much more doable. Worst case, these will come out again in Sci-Fi July. So if we don't watch Star Trek before, I can't imagine not watching Star Trek in some form before then, but that would just be a tragedy. Okay, this is another Gaia design. It's called Alice Meets the Caterpillar. Try not to pull out as much as possible just to keep things flowing, because we're creeping closer to 3 hours. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's where I got. I started it last year. Super fun. It's on this weird loose Ada, but it's super easy to stitch on, and I love the color. It's really cute. So very similar, a little more pink than the called for, it looks like, but very similar to the called for. This will come out next month. I'm excited for that. Definitely pull out all my Alice in Wonderland stitches in February. I don't know. Okay, Mojo Stitches in the library. I'm stitching this one with Julian Stitches, and has gorgeous cottage garden threads. And oh my gosh, this one will definitely get a lot of attention for February and March probably, because I love it. Look at that border. Oh my goodness. forgot how much, I didn't forget how much I loved it, but I'm re-realizing it. So the top shelf is done. I'd started the second shelf, but there's one more. So not quite halfway, but I loved stitching on this. And it was an introduction to the cottage garden threads. I've kept them in little baggies, but I have more. I've since bought more, and I got the Hearts for Pam, so I got more with that, and I very much like them. I try not to branch out. Not that I don't love trying new threads, I really do. But I don't really have the economics to have full collections of 10 different thread dyers. And so I try not to try new things too much in that department right now anyways, because like this one, I love them and I would love to have all of the cottage garden threads. It's been a slow acquisition, but I think they are things I will continue to gather over time. Anyways, a little side note. Leave nothing but footprints, kill nothing but time comes from Emma Condon's Cross Stitch for the Earth. I started this last year and did good. Looks like I did pretty good. Real solid start. I'm really enjoying this one. This is really pretty fabric. What is this called? This is a Bestitch Me fabric. It was one of my first installments of the subscription. It's called Ledger. I really like that. Very pretty, very, very pretty. Very fun to stitch. This is not hard stitching. This is like comfort stitching for me. And it will come out again. Excuse me. I want to say I started this for Earth Day. Yes. So in April is probably when we'll bring it out again. Almost there. Almost there. This is long enough that I hope you're enjoying. Rose Fairy, it's my first Soda Stitch, which is so funny. About a month or two after I started this, there was my first Soda Sal, or my first Soda Stitch Sal, something like that. And I was like, I have one, but I've already started it. Does it count? And they said, yes, of course, just stitch with us. And then I never stitched it. I did this much and then I kind of dropped it. It's on this opalescent Ada, which is super pretty and magical for a fairy. But I just kind of put it away. I think it was holidays, seasonal stitching kind of took over. But it's cute. It's fun. It goes really quickly, and I know that the back stitch will make a big difference on that when I get to it. Oh, this is a big one. I almost pulled this one out the other day. Do I have a picture? I don't think so. Okay, so this one won't mean much to you because it's a piddly start. But it's called the Master Sword, and it's a Zelda reference. It's a fandom stitch, and that is very exciting, I know. But this fabric is spectacular. It's really cool. Actually, this is good light for it. It goes a little bit greener through this than is showing, but it definitely has like a lagoony green undertone to the black. It's gorgeous. It'll be perfect for the stitch. The color palette is very much teals, greens, and blues, and yeah. But I almost pulled this out the other day. Maybe I'll leave this towards the surface of my mountain. Okay. This is a Yasmin's Made with Love. Never forget. She has since released, her model stitch was completed, and she's updated her patterns to have the model stitch show. It's so gorgeous. It's really, really beautiful. I have started the heart. This is a memorial stitch from my grandmother, and I think I'll bring it out next month, which is her birthday month. Okay, just a few more. I swear we're almost there. I think I chatter more. So I just saw the only other person I really I'm aware of in Flosstube that carries as many WIPs as I do is, we'll keep going while I talk. This is not the Mandalorian yet, not the Magister yet, excuse me, Mandalorian. Not the Magister yet. I'm stitching it on 28 count cauldron from Picture This Plus. And as I recall, I got a pretty solid start on this one. Yes, we ran into some counting issues originally in the purple, but those have been corrected. And now we have giant eyes. The Virginia Stitcher, Vicky, the Virginia Stitcher. She has a lot of WIPs. I always feel like a kindred spirit to her. But I just saw she posted her WIP parade. I haven't watched it yet. And it was like 2.5 hours. I don't know how, but I have surpassed her. I think I just reached 242. Oh my goodness. It's fine. We're down to the last 3, so it's gonna be fine. But I think I just chatter. I think I just get distracted and chatter. Long time, which is a fandom stitch from, oh my gosh, my brain. Anyways, that's where I am. This pattern is definitely designed for Pattern Keeper. It is a nightmare if you print it out. It is so tiny. You cannot tell the differences. And the grid lines are so thick in the printout that you really cannot tell anything from anything else. And so something to keep in mind if you go for this one, it is definitely one to, it's from Nocturne Arts on Etsy. The Last of Us. There we go. Gosh, why was that not coming to my brain? Anyways, definitely. I don't have Pattern Keeper. I have Apple products. And so, in fact, I even tried to download Pattern Keeper to my Kindle at one point, and it just like shorted out my Kindle. So I don't have Pattern Keeper, but I just downloaded it as a PDF and I just blow it up in my pictures and I can see it then. And it's great. It's great. It's a really pretty pattern. And when you can actually see it, it's easy to read. So this one is no longer available. It's another Etsy purchase. The shop is closed down. It's called Starry Night. I think it goes this way. Is that right? Yes, the mountains. These are the mountains. So I love this one. This one makes me think of, my husband and I play video games. We don't have any children, and so we are children. And this one always makes me think of, oh my gosh, I'm not going to remember it now. It's fabulous though. It's like the colors in that game are just fantastic. They're really gorgeous. Anyways, this reminds me of it. I can't remember what it's called. Worlds. The Outer Worlds. Yeah. Anyways, fun game. Cute stitch. This one I will stitch and finish. This one, it's almost embarrassing that I didn't finish this one because it's really so close, but I think I just was not motivated. It's the I Want to Believe poster, and literally all I have left is the fill-in those 2 spots. I don't even have to count it. I just have to pull out a needle and the right color floss and fill it in. It'll happen. It'll be done this year. It's fun. Sci-Fi July. I love X-Files. I grew up listening to my mom watch X-Files. It was too scary for me to watch, but I grew up listening to her watch it. And somebody in my husband's family also watched it, one of the adults. I don't know if it was his mom or his dad. Probably his dad, frankly. Just thinking about it, though he doesn't watch a lot of TV. Anyways, speaking of rambling, it's better. Anyways, we as adults watch it. We don't just listen to the music from our bedrooms in the evening. back when you had to watch TV on a set schedule, predetermined. This is my Piddly Chatelaine start, which is called Alpine Garden. I am so excited to stitch on it again. But I had this fabric. I don't know what it was. It was terrible. It's not even, it had to air out for weeks. And I washed it. And I did everything I could. It smelled like fish. That's why I keep smelling it. I don't think it smells like fish anymore. I think we're good. I think we're out of the woods. I don't have a picture for it, I'm afraid. I was gifted the pattern and the supplies. It was lovely. Thank you again, Beth. But I think we finally got the fabric to not smell like fish. For whatever reason, it was it was giving me a headache like in minutes with it stitching it, which is why I have such a small start, despite having all the beautiful threads, including the silks. I am using some DMCs. Apparently I need to reload some DMCs, but I do have a lot of the beautiful silks too. So it's very exciting. It's very exciting. And some of the beads. I don't think I have all of the beads, but I have 3 of the beads. It'll be a long time before I get to beading. Anyway, my first chatelaine, and it'll be fun. When I pull it out again, maybe this could be one of my big ones. It gets a quarter or something like that. Or I could just join the Chatelaine Wednesday like I'd planned to and stitch it every Wednesday, but I don't know. That's it, you guys. That's the whole kit and caboodle. That's the big extravaganza. 2 3/4 hours later, we have made it through. I do not blame you if you've watched this in more than one session. That is totally fine. Do what you need to do. This is Lord of the Rings length extended edition WIP Parade. And you know what, frankly? It couldn't be any better. That's a pretty fantastic comparison. I approve of that. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're excited for your stitching this year. I feel like my plans are still settling. Like they've been swirling around in my brain for a couple of months now, and they're kind of starting to settle into some kind of sense of organization, but they're still working on settling. But I am excited for my stitching this year. I am stitching from stash. I'm trying not to buy any supplies for 6 months, other than like if I'm actively working on a project and I run out of like 310 or something, I'll go out and buy a 310. But I'm trying not to start anything that's not already kitted up in this room physically, and not buy anything new other than my 3 subscriptions. I get a Floss Fix, my Mystery Houses from Cottage Garden Samplings, and then my Stitch Me Quarter Yard. So I keep some things coming in, which is good and fun. But then the rest of my stitching will be from this mountain that we've just created over here. And that's good. That's exciting because I have so many beautiful projects in there that I'm really enthusiastic about. So it's good. It's a good thing. And we're moving in the next 6 months. So having a little bit of extra savings is not a bad thing either. In fact, it's a very intentional move. So, yes. Happy New Year, everyone. I'll be back in a week or so with a real video, a much shorter video. And I always like the long videos. I'm always a little sad when I'm really enjoying one and it's like 20 minutes later it's done. I'm like, oh. So I hope all of you all like long videos too, because I delivered today. It's okay. I do 2 WIP parades a year. One at my Flosstube anniversary, which is in August, and one in January. So this is good. This is very good. It was fun to see everything, and I definitely got a sense of like, ooh, I'm really excited about this, and I'm not as excited about some other things. So I kind of have a mental direction for what WIPs will get more focus this year. So yeah, it's good. It's fun. Happy stitching. Take care of yourselves. take your vitamin D supplements, and I hope you have a wonderful week. All right, bye.